CSGO Source 2 is going to release any day now, and I'm scared. Wow, Twitter has just been going absolutely crazy with Source 2 related activity. And that's because after my last video, 3 major things happened. First, there was a post by Richard Lewis, and from his history, he seems to be pretty credible. In his post, he says that CSGO Source 2 is pretty much ready to be released. Now, technically, you could pretty much shrug this off, with the exception of a pretty massive update seems to have been queued up by Valve. Now, from here we can see, right now it looks like it might be a new operation, it might be Source 2 combined with a new operation, or it might just be Source 2. But given all the leaks as of late, I'm leaning towards Source 2. And if I look farther, it looks like it's just too big for an operation. Everything with a 2 in it is Source 2. This makes it appear like it could be similar to the Dota 2 move to Source 2, when the newer version was called Dota 2 Reborn and ran alongside of the original game when you would launch it. But that's not all. A Dota 2 update came out tonight, which is going to give us a little bit more insight into CSGO Source 2. For example, we can see that there are going to be spray kits and sticker kits. And it got me thinking, with paint kits now added, are we going to see a devalue in skins? And if that's the case, then what other things could go wrong with the release of Source 2? Now, right off the bat, we already know that the movement's going to be a little bit different. That's just because the mechanics of Source 2 have to be different than in Source 1. It doesn't translate exactly perfectly. Now, they have done some modifications to the code to try to make up for this, but even during an interview back in 2017, they said that if they ported it over to Source 2, it wouldn't be a one-to-one conversion when it comes to movement. So my fear is that if they can't convert it perfectly, are they going to try to enhance it? Are we going to find ourselves with even faster movement? Now, my fear is that they're just going to make the gameplay faster and faster. After all, they have done that in the past, going from Counter-Strike 1.6 up to CSGO. And if they do that, forget about a Ferrari peak. You're going to be getting peaked by the speed of light. And what about gun mechanics? First bullet accuracy of guns like the AK-47 and M4 are far less accurate than they were in Counter-Strike Source. Are they going to continue with that and make the guns even more inaccurate with their first bullet accuracies? And then we go to spray. Back in the old days of Counter-Strike 1.6 and Source, you had random spray patterns. Well, you had 7 different ones for each gun. This was used to punish people for spraying, which was okay because the guns were more accurate when tapping. Meanwhile, CSGO has a very different approach where you have one spray pattern with a little bit of spread, but this is going to feel very different in the Source 2 engine. While I imagine they'll probably keep one spray pattern, are they going to make it more difficult to control or maybe a little easier to control? Either way, there goes that muscle memory. And then there's physics. The physics in Source 2 are completely different than they are in Source 1. And there's really no way or reason for them to get these to match up. Now granted, CSGO has a lot of static objects, especially when you compare it to a game like Counter-Strike Source. But who knows what they're going to do here, because now that you have a more accurate physics engine, you could actually get away with using some more physics objects. After all, wasn't that Valve's main issue with the physics objects in Counter-Strike Source? That they would clip through objects, cause the game to be unstable, and cause a lot of unintended gameplay. But that's not what you're worried about. What you're worried about is learning new nade lineups. They have literally remade all the maps for Source 2. These are not identical copies of the map. They are even bringing back Cobble. So you can expect that even if the physics were the same, you'd have to relearn the lineups. Let's just hope that with the new engine, they're able to get rid of the smoke bugs and nade bugs. But that's not all. Next up, we got updated graphics. And we already know that they're going to be adding ray tracing support. Now, while this is amazing for a spectating experience, what about from a gameplay experience? How configurable are your graphic settings going to be? And don't forget, ray tracing is known to add input latency, especially with DLS. And I sure don't want delayed movements in 15 frames per second, so hopefully it is highly configurable. But then we might run into a situation where just having a good config is going to automatically make you a better player than someone with a bad config. And that makes the bar for entry of new players just too high, which will cause a decline in the growth of Counter-Strike as a whole. Okay, but are they going to be treating this like a new game? Will they be adding new utility, new weapons, new anything? And if they do, how is that going to affect the game? I mean, people love seeing new things added, something to keep things fresh. But at the end of the day, if you keep adding stuff, it eventually becomes too much. and overcomplicates a game to the point where you don't even want to play it. I mean, look at Valorant. I mean, last time I played, someone threw a trap on the ground and I didn't even know what it did, so I walked over to it just to trigger it, just so I could find out. Now, I know we're definitely going to have a rank reset with this, but that's not a big deal. We've had rank resets before. And if reports are accurate, servers are going to be going up to 128 tick, which is a great improvement. But still, I can't help but worry that Valve might try to push the game farther away from its pixel-perfect precision of the past into a sloppier, more pub-oriented casual game. But I guess it won't be long until we find out. Fingers crossed Source 2 is everything everyone dreamed of. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and as always, have a great day.